The conference room doors slammed shut behind Ella Torres with a sound that echoed like a judge's gavel. Her heart pounded as she stood frozen, staring at the long table where 12 people sat. People she had hired, people she had trusted, people who worked in her company. At the head of the table sat Logan Campbell, her chief operating manager, wearing a smile that made Ella's stomach twist. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the kind of smile a cat gives a mouse right before pouncing. "Ella," Logan said, his voice smooth as butter but cold as ice. "Please have a seat." Ella didn't move. Something was very, very wrong. The air in the room felt thick and heavy, like a storm was coming. She noticed that everyone at the table avoided looking at her eyes. They stared at their papers, at the table, at the walls. Anywhere but at her. "What's going on here?" Ella asked, her voice steady even though her hands trembled at her sides. Logan stood up slowly, buttoning his expensive gray suit jacket. He picked up a stack of papers and walked toward her with footsteps that clicked against the marble floor like a ticking clock. "Ella Torres," he began in the way he said her name. Her own name sounded like an insult. "After careful consideration and a unanimous vote by the board of directors, we have decided that your services as CEO are no longer needed." The words hit Ella like a punch to the stomach. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. Her own company, the company she had built from nothing in her tiny apartment in Brooklyn 7 years ago, the company she had grown from 3 employees to 300. You're firing me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Not firing," Logan corrected, his smile growing wider. "Removing. There's a difference. You see, while you were away at that conference in Chicago this week, the board met. We reviewed the company's performance, and we all agreed that Torres Tech needs new leadership, younger leadership, more appropriate leadership." Ella's mind raced. She had been at a tech conference, yes, but only for 3 days. 3 days. How could they have planned this entire takeover in just 3 days? Unless they had been planning it for much longer. "This is illegal," Ella said, finding her voice again, stronger now. "I own 60% of this company. You can't just remove me." Logan's laugh was like breaking glass. "Oh, Ella, sweet, naive Ella, did you actually read the documents you signed last month? The ones about restructuring the board and modernizing our corporate governance?" Ella's blood went cold. She remembered those documents. Logan had brought them to her when she was overwhelmed with the new product launch, exhausted from 16-hour workdays. He had said they were just routine paperwork, nothing important. She had trusted him. She had signed them without reading every single word. "What did you do?" she asked, her voice shaking with anger now. "I simply helped you understand that running a billion-dollar company requires certain sacrifices," Logan said, dropping the papers on the table in front of her. "You sign away your controlling interest to the board. Congratulations, Ella. You now own exactly 40% of Torres Tech. Not enough to stop us. Not enough to save yourself." Ella grabbed the papers with shaking hands. She scanned through them, her eyes moving faster and faster, and there was buried in legal language so complicated it made her head spin. The clause that gave the board the power to remove her as CEO with a simple majority vote. "You tricked me," she said, her voice breaking. "You lied to me." "I did my job," Logan replied, walking back to his seat, like a king returning to his throne. "This company was going nowhere with you in charge. You were too soft, too focused on employee wellness and ethical practices. Do you know how much money you cost us by refusing to sell user data? By giving employees those ridiculous mental health days? By donating profits to charity? That's what made us different." Ella shouted, slamming her hand on the table. "That's why people loved working here. That's why our customers trusted us. That's why we're leaving millions of dollars on the table." Logan shot back. "But don't worry. Under my leadership, Torres Tech will finally reach its true potential. We'll be ruthless, efficient, profitable." Ella looked around the table at the faces of her board members, people she had promoted, people she had mentored. "How could you all agree to this?" she asked. "Marcus? Jennifer? David? I gave you all your positions. I believed in you." One by one, they looked away. Not a single person spoke up for her. Your belief doesn't pay the bills, Ella, said Jennifer Kim, the chief financial officer, finally looking up. Logan showed us the numbers, showed us how much more money we could make if we just made some changes. Security is waiting outside. Logan said, checking his expensive watch. They'll escort you to your office to collect your personal belongings. You have 15 minutes. After that, your key card will be deactivated, and you'll be removed from all company systems. Ella felt tears burning in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here, not in front of these traitors. This isn't over, she said, her voice quiet but firm. I built this company. I know every contract, every employee, every single detail. You think you can just steal it from me? Logan leaned back in his chair, that horrible smile still on his face. It's already done, Ella. Torres Tech is mine now. Well, ours, he gestured to the board. You're yesterday's news. In 6 months, no one will even remember you were the founder. 2 security guards entered the room. Ella recognized them, Mike and Anthony, men she had hired herself, men whose families she had met at company picnics. Ms. Torres, Mike said, not meeting her eyes, please come with us. Ella Torres, the woman who had been featured on the cover of Forbes magazine, who had been called one of the most innovative tech entrepreneurs of her generation, who had built $1 billion company from nothing, was being escorted out of her own building by her own security guards. As she walked through the office, employees stopped working and stared. Some looked shocked, some looked sad, some looked away quickly, afraid to be associated with her. When they reached her office, the corner office on the 30th floor with a view of the Manhattan skyline that she had dreamed about when she was a poor college student working 3 jobs, Ella saw that boxes were already stacked by her desk. They had planned this. Every detail. They had known exactly how this day would go. 15 minutes, Miss Torres, Anthony said softly, his voice full of regret. Ella began packing her personal items with shaking hands. Her college diploma, the photo of her grandmother who had raised her in the Bronx and told her she could be anything she wanted, the thank you notes from employees whose lives she had changed. As she packed, her phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. Check your private email. The one only you know about. Do it now. A friend. Ella's heart raced as she pulled out her personal laptop, the one the company couldn't access. She logged into her private email account, the one she used for her personal business, the one she'd set up years ago when she first started the company. There in her inbox was an email with a subject line, "They made a mistake." She opened it, and her eyes went wide as she read. Then she read it again, and again. A slow smile spread across Ella's face, the first smile since she'd walked into that conference room. "Ms. Torres," Mike said from the doorway. "Time's up." Ella closed her laptop, tucked it under her arm, and picked up her box of belongings. But something had changed. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. Her eyes weren't filled with tears. "Thank you, Mike," she said calmly. "You can tell Logan Campbell that he should enjoy his new office. He's going to be in it for exactly—" She checked her watch. 3 more minutes. Ella Torres walked out of the Torres Tech building with her head held high, even though her heart was still racing. The security guards watched her go, confused by the confident smile on her face. They had expected tears. They had expected begging. They had expected the broken woman. But Ella wasn't broken. Not anymore. She climbed into her car in the parking garage and immediately opened her laptop again. The email was still there, glowing on her screen like a treasure map. She read it one more time, just to make sure she wasn't dreaming. The email was from Richard Park, her lawyer. But not just any lawyer. Richard was the man who had helped her set up Torres Tech 7 years ago. He was the man who had warned her, even back then, to protect herself. Ella, the email read, "I heard what happened through my contacts at the company. I'm so sorry. But I need you to remember something important. When we first created Torres Tech, you asked me what would happen if someone ever tried to steal your company. Do you remember what I told you?" Ella's hands trembled as she scrolled down. "I told you that I would build you a safety net. A secret clause in the original founding documents that no one else knows about. Not the board. Not Logan. No one. Here's what you need to know. According to Section 47B of the original incorporation papers, if the CEO is removed without just cause, meaning criminal activity, gross negligence, or financial fraud, the CEO has a right to call an emergency shareholder meeting within 24 hours. At this meeting, all shareholders, not just board members, get to vote on whether the removal was justified. Ella's heart pounded as she kept reading. Here's the key, Ella. When you gave stock options to your employees over the years as bonuses and incentives, you created hundreds of shareholders. Small shareholders, yes, but shareholders nonetheless. And according to the company charter, in an emergency meeting, every share gets one vote. The board might control 60% between them, but your loyal employees control the other 40% through their stock options. And you still own your 40% too. Ella did the math in her head. If she could get the employees on her side, she would have 80% of the vote. The board, Logan and his traders, would only have 20%. She could take back her company. But there was more to the email. You have to act fast, Ella. You have exactly 24 hours from the moment of your removal to call this meeting. After that, the clause expires and becomes void. I've already filed the paperwork. The emergency shareholder meeting is scheduled for 2 p.m. today at the Hilton Conference Center downtown. That's in 5 hours. Every single shareholder has been notified by automated email. It's required by law. Logan can't stop it. The board can't stop it. It's happening. Ella looked at the time. 9:03 a.m. 5 hours. She had 5 hours to convince 300 employees to vote for her instead of the board. 5 hours to save everything she had built. But how could she do that? Logan had probably already started spreading lies about her. He probably told everyone that she was a bad CEO, that she was costing them money, that he was saving the company. Ella's phone rang. It was a number she recognized. Samuel Chun. Wait, no, she couldn't use that name. Samuel Johnson. Yes, Samuel Johnson, the head of software development, one of her first employees. A man she had hired when he was fresh out of college with student loans he couldn't pay. Samuel, Ella answered, her voice shaky. Ella, oh my God, Ella, what is happening? Samuel's voice was panicked. Logan just sent out an email saying you've been removed as CEO. He said you were stealing money from the company. He said you were under investigation. Ella's hands gripped the steering wheel so hard her knuckles turned white. He's lying, Samuel. I never stole anything. He tricked me into signing documents that gave the board power to remove me. He planned this whole thing. I knew it, Samuel said. I knew something was wrong. Logan's been acting weird for weeks. He's been having secret meetings, closing his office door, making phone calls where he tells everyone to leave the room. Samuel, I need your help, Ella said. There's an emergency shareholder meeting today at 2 p.m. Every employee who owns stock gets to vote on whether my removal was fair. If I can get enough employees to vote for me, I can take back the company. But I need you to help me reach them. Logan is going to try to stop me from talking to anyone. There was silence on the other end of the line. Samuel? Ella asked, her heart sinking. Are you still there? I'm here, Samuel said slowly. Ella, I want to help you. I really do. But Logan called a mandatory all-staff meeting for 10 a.m. this morning. He said anyone who doesn't attend will be fired immediately. He's going to tell everyone his side of the story first. By the time you get a chance to talk to people, he'll have already poisoned them against you. Ella's mind raced. She checked the time again, 9:07 a.m. She had less than an hour before Logan's meeting. Where's the meeting? She asked. The main auditorium on the 5th floor, Samuel replied. But Ella, security has your picture. They have orders not to let you back in the building. If you try to come here, they'll call the police. Logan said you're trespassing if you set foot on company property. Ella wanted to scream. She wanted to cry. She wanted to drive her car straight through the front doors of Torres Tech and storm into that auditorium. But she couldn't. Logan had thought of everything. Or had he? Samuel, Ella said, a new idea forming in her mind. Does the building still have that old service entrance in the back? The one the cleaning crew uses. Yes, but it's locked. You need a key card. I know someone who has a key card. Ella said, thinking of Maria Gonzalez. No, wait, she needed a new name. Maria Patterson. Maria Patterson, the head of the cleaning crew. A woman whose daughter Ella had personally helped get a college scholarship. A woman who had cried tears of joy and hugged Ella at the company holiday party. Ella, what are you planning? Samuel asked nervously. I'm planning to crash Logan's meeting, Ella said. Can you make sure the auditorium's microphone system is working? And can you make sure your phone is recording video? You wanted to record this? Samuel, by the time this day is over, everyone is going to know the truth about Logan Campbell. But I need evidence. I need witnesses. I need people to see what kind of man he really is. Okay, Samuel said, his voice growing stronger. Okay, I'll do it. But Ella, be careful. Logan is dangerous. I've seen the way he looks at people who disagree with him. He's not going to let you take his power away without a fight. Ella ended the call and immediately dialed another number. Maria answered on the second ring. Ms. Torres. Maria's voice was confused. I heard you don't work here anymore. Maria, I need your help, Ella said, and I promise I'll explain everything. But right now, I need to get into the building through the service entrance. Can you meet me there in 20 minutes? But Ms. Torres, I could lose my job. Maria, Ella interrupted gently. Remember when your daughter needed help paying for college? Remember when I personally wrote a check for her tuition? Because I believed in her? Because I believed in you? There was a long pause. I'll be there in 15 minutes, Maria said. And Ms. Torres? Whatever is happening, I'm on your side. Ella drove across Manhattan with her heart pounding in her chest. She parked 3 blocks away from the Torres Tech building and walked quickly through the morning crowds, keeping her head down. She wore sunglasses and a baseball cap she found in her car, hoping no one would recognize her. At 9:35 a.m., she reached the back of the building where the service entrance was hidden behind a row of dumpsters. Maria was already there, her cleaning uniform on, her key card in her hand. Ms. Torres, Maria whispered, looking around nervously. Are you in trouble? Yes, Ella said honestly, but I'm going to fix it. Maria, I need you to let me in and show me how to get to the 5th floor without being seen. Maria bit her lip, thinking. Then she nodded. There's a service elevator. It goes straight from the basement to every floor. The cleaning crew uses it to move supplies. No one else ever uses it. But Miss Torres, if they catch you. They won't catch me, Ella said with more confidence than she felt. Not until I want them to. Maria swiped her key card and the heavy metal door clicked open. The 2 women slipped inside, into a dimly lit corridor that smelled like cleaning supplies and old concrete. This way, Maria whispered, leading Ella through a maze of hallways. They passed storage rooms full of mops and buckets, break rooms where other cleaning staff drank coffee, and finally reached the service elevator. 5th floor, Maria said, pressing the button. The elevator opens right next to the auditorium's back entrance. There's a door that leads backstage. That's how we access the auditorium to clean it. The elevator doors open on the 5th floor, and Ella could hear voices, hundreds of voices, coming from the auditorium. Logan's meeting had already started. Thank you, Maria, Ella whispered. No matter what happens today, thank you. Maria squeezed her hand. Go get him, Miss Torres. That man is a snake. Ella crept toward the back entrance of the auditorium. Through a small window in the door, she could see the stage. And there, standing in the spotlight with a microphone in his hand, was Logan Campbell. He was smiling that terrible smile. And he was lying. I know this is difficult news, Logan was saying to the crowd of 300 employees. Ella Torres built this company, yes, but she also nearly destroyed it. For the past 6 months, she's been making terrible decisions, refusing profitable contracts, giving away money that should have gone to your bonuses. And worst of all, Logan paused for dramatic effect. She's been secretly planning to sell the company to our biggest competitor. She was going to sell Torres Tech, take her millions, and leave all of you without jobs. The audience gasped. Ella heard people shouting in anger. That's a lie. Ella screamed in her mind. but she couldn't burst in yet. Not yet. She needed to wait for the right moment. Logan continued. The board had no choice but to remove her. We did it to protect you, to protect your jobs, to protect the company that we all love. And I promise you, under my leadership, Torres Tech will be stronger than ever, will be richer than ever, and you will all benefit. The crowd began to clap, slowly at first, then louder and louder. Ella's heart sank. They believed him. Logan was winning. But then something unexpected happened. A voice in the crowd shouted, "If Ella was so bad, why did our stock price double last year? Why did we win those awards for Best Workplace? Why did Forbes call her a genius?" Ella pressed her face against the window, trying to see who had spoken. It was Samuel. Samuel Johnson was standing up, holding his phone up high, recording everything. Logan's smile faltered for just a second. Those achievements were the result of the entire team, not just Ella. And besides, success in the past doesn't mean. "Show us proof," another voice shouted. It was Jennifer Young. Wait, no new names. Jennifer Harper. Jennifer Harper from marketing. "Show us these contracts," she refused. "Show us evidence that she was selling the company." More voices joined in. People were standing up now, demanding answers. Logan's face turned red. "You don't understand the complexities of business." "We're not stupid," Samuel shouted. "You're asking us to vote against Ella at the shareholder meeting today, but you won't show us any proof of your accusations." Ella's heart soared. Her employees, her people, weren't giving up on her. They were fighting for her. This was her moment. Ella burst through the back door and strode onto the stage, her footsteps echoing in the suddenly silent auditorium. 300 pairs of eyes turned to stare at her. Logan's mouth fell open in shock. "Security!" he screamed into his microphone. "Security, get her out of here now." But Ella was faster. She grabbed the microphone from his hands and turned to face her employees. "Hello, everyone," she said, her voice steady and strong. "I'm sure you're all very surprised to see me, but I have something important to tell you. And Logan Campbell really doesn't want you to hear it." Security guards rushed toward the stage, but the employees blocked their path. Hundreds of people stood up, forming a human barrier between Ella and the guards. "Let her speak," they chanted. "Let her speak. Let her speak." Logan's face was purple with rage now. He lunged toward Ella, trying to grab the microphone back. And that's when it happened. That's when Logan Campbell made his biggest mistake. In front of 300 witnesses, with Samuel's phone recording every second, Logan grabbed Ella's arm so hard that she cried out in pain. He tried to drag her off the stage, his fingernails digging into her skin. "You're finished," he screamed at her, his perfect composure completely gone. "You're nothing. This is MY Company now. Mine." And that's when the entire audience saw the real Logan Campbell. Not the smooth, professional businessman he pretended to be, but the angry, violent, power-hungry man he truly was. The security guards stopped moving. The employees stared in horror. And Samuel's phone captured it all. Ella yanked her arm free from Logan's grip and stepped back, breathing hard. The auditorium was completely silent. Everyone stared at Logan like they were seeing him for the first time. "Did you all see that?" Ella said into microphone, her voice shaking but clear. "Did you see how he just grabbed me? That's the real Logan Campbell. That's the man who wants to lead this company." Logan's face went from purple to white. He realized what he had done. He had lost control in front of everyone. He had shown his true colors. I was just trying to," Logan stammered. "Trying to what?" Ella interrupted. "Hurt me? Silence me? Drag me off the stage like I'm garbage." The employees began murmuring to each other. Some pulled out their phones and started recording too. Logan looked around wildly, seeing his perfect plan falling apart. "Everyone, please calm down," Logan said, trying to fix his smile, but it looked fake now, like a mask that didn't fit right. "Ella is trespassing. She's not supposed to be here. I was simply trying to. You were trying to stop me from telling the truth." Ella said loudly, "The truth about how you tricked me. The truth about how you lied to these people. The truth about your real plans for Torres Tech. She turned to face the crowd of employees. Her people. Logan told you I was planning to sell the company, Ella said. That's a complete lie. I have never, not once, considered selling Torres Tech. This company is my dream. It's my life's work. Why would I ever sell it? She's lying, Logan shouted, but his voice cracked. I have documents. I have proof. Then show them, Ella said calmly. Show everyone these documents you claim to have. Logan's mouth opened and closed like a fish. He had no documents. He had no proof. It had all been lies. Samuel stood up in the audience. I work in the legal department, he called out. I've seen every contract, every proposal, every business deal for the past 3 years. There has never been any discussion about selling the company. Not once. Logan is lying. More employees stood up. Ella gave me a promotion when I was struggling to pay my rent, shouted a woman from accounting named Rachel Stone. Ella personally visited me in the hospital when I had surgery, yelled a man from IT named David Brooke. Ella created the child care program so I could bring my baby to work, cried a young mother from customer service named Ashley Reed. One by one, employees shared their stories. Stories of how Ella had helped them, supported them, believed in them. The auditorium filled with voices, all defending her, all standing up for her. Logan stood frozen on the stage, watching his power crumble. You want to know the real truth? Ella said into the microphone. Logan has been planning this takeover for months. He convinced the board members to betray me by promising them more money. He told them we would start selling user data, the private information of our customers, to advertising companies. Gasps echoed through the room. He planned to fire half of you to cut costs, Ella continued, her voice growing stronger. He was going to eliminate the health care benefits, cancel the mental health program, and remove the work-from-home options, all to increase profits. That's not. Logan tried to speak, but no words came out. I have emails, Ella said. Emails between Logan and the board members discussing these exact plans. My lawyer sent them to me this morning. Should I read them out loud? Should I tell everyone exactly what Logan thinks of all of you? She pulled out her phone and began reading. This is an email from Logan to board member Jennifer Kim, dated 3 weeks ago. Quote, these employees are too comfortable. They think this company owes them something. Once I'm in charge, I'll remind them who's really in control. We'll eliminate the weakest workers and make the rest work harder for less money. That's how real businesses operate. End quote. The audience erupted in angry shouts. People were standing up, pointing at Logan, demanding answers. Logan backed away from Ella, his hands up like he was trying to calm an angry mob. You're taking that out of context, he yelled. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Ella challenged him. Please, explain to all these people what you meant when you called them too comfortable and weak. Logan's eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape route. The security guards, who had ordered to remove Ella, were now standing with the employees, their arms crossed, glaring at him. I want everyone here to know something important, Ella said, her voice calmer now. At 2 p.m. today, there's an emergency shareholder meeting. Every person in this room who owns stock in Torres Tech gets to vote. You get to decide if Logan's removal of me was fair. You get to decide who leads this company. She paused, looking out at the sea of faces. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, Ella continued. I'm not going to beg. I'm just going to tell you the truth. If Logan stays in power, Torres Tech will become just another greedy corporation that treats its workers like machines and its customers like wallets to be emptied. But if you vote to bring me back, I promise you this. Torres Tech will remain a company that cares about people. A company that does the right thing, even when it's hard. A company we can all be proud of. The auditorium exploded with applause. People were cheering, stomping their feet, chanting Ella's name. Logan stood alone on the stage, defeated and humiliated. His perfect plan had failed. His lies had been exposed. His true nature had been revealed. But he wasn't done eating as Ella stepped off the stage, surrounded by employees who wanted to hug her and shake her hand. Logan pulled out his phone. He made a quick call, whispering urgently into the receiver. Samuel, who was still recording everything, caught it on video. He saw Logan's lips move, saw the desperate look in his eyes. "What's he doing?" Samuel whispered to Ella as she passed by. Ella turned and watched Logan carefully. Something in his body language made her nervous. He looked like a cornered animal, and cornered animals were dangerous. Logan ended his call and looked directly at Ella. His smile returned, but this time it was different. This time it was cruel. "You think you've won," Logan said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You think these people will save you. But you forgot something important, Ella. I have friends, powerful friends, and they're going to make sure you never work in this city again." Ella's blood ran cold. "What did you just do?" Logan laughed, a horrible, nasty sound. "I just made a call to every major investor in New York. By noon, everyone in the business world will know that you're unstable, that you can't be trusted, that you attacked me on this stage. My lawyer is already preparing a lawsuit against you for assault." The employees looked confused. Assault? Ella hadn't touched Logan. He had grabbed her. "We have video proof that you grabbed her," Samuel shouted, holding up his phone. "Do you?" Logan said, his smile growing wider. "Because I have 6 board members who will testify in court that Ella attacked me first. 6 respected business leaders against one angry woman who just got fired. Who do you think a judge will believe?" Ella felt sick. Logan was going to lie in court. He was going to ruin her reputation. Even if she won the vote today, even if she got her company back, her name would be destroyed. No one would want to do business with her. No investor would trust her. Logan had found a way to win after all. "The shareholder meeting is at 2 p.m., Logan said, checking his watch. "That gives me 4 hours to make sure every newspaper, every news website, and every TV station in New York knows about the crazy so who violently attacked her former employee. By the time that meeting starts, you'll be finished, Ella Torres." He walked off the stage, pushing to the crowd of employees like they were nothing. Ella stood frozen, her mind racing. She had 4 hours. 4 hours to save not just her company, but her entire future. Ella stood in the auditorium, watching Logan walk away like he had already won. Her hands were shaking. Her mind was spinning. For hours. She had 4 hours before Logan destroyed everything Ms. Torres. Samuel was beside her, his hand gently touching her shoulder. "What do we do now?" Ella took a deep breath. She looked around at the 300 employees who were all watching her, waiting for her to say something, to do something, to lead them like she always had. "We fight back," Ella said quietly. Then louder, "We fight back." The employees cheered, but Ella knew cheering wouldn't be enough. She needed a real plan. Logan had powerful friends and lawyers. He was already spreading lies about her. By lunchtime, her face would be on the news with a headline, "Violent CEO attacks employee." "Samuel, I need you to send that video to every employee's email right now," Ella said quickly. "The video showing Logan grabbing me. Make sure everyone has proof of what really happened." "On it," Samuel said, already typing on his phone. "Rachel," Ella called to the woman from accounting, "I need you to pull up every financial record from the past 6 months. I want to know exactly where every dollar went. If Logan's been planning this takeover, there might be suspicious payments or transfers." Rachel nodded and ran toward the elevators. "David," Ella said to the IT specialist, "can you access Logan's work email?" David looked nervous. That's technically illegal without permission." "Logan just tried to destroy my life with lies," Ella said firmly. "I need to know what he's been saying to those board members. I need proof of his real plans. Can you do it or not?" David thought for a moment, then nodded. "I'll need 30 minutes. And Ms. Torres? If anyone asks, I was fixing a computer problem. I never did this." "Agreed," Ella said. She turned to Ashley, the young mother from customer service. "Ashley, I need you to call every single employee who couldn't make it to this meeting. Tell them what happened here. Tell them the truth before Logan's lies reach them." "Yes, ma'am," Ashley said, pulling out her phone. Ella looked at her watch. 10:15 a.m. Less than 4 hours until the shareholder meeting. Less than 4 hours to save everything. Her phone buzzed. It was her lawyer, Richard Park. "Ella, I just heard from a friend at Channel 7 News," Richard said, his voice tight with worry. "Logan's people contacted them. They're planning to run a story at noon about you attacking him. They have a board member who's willing to go on camera and lie." Ella's stomach dropped. "Can we stop them?" "Not legally, no. Freedom of the press." "But Ella, if that story airs, even with video proof that Logan's lying, the damage will be done. People believe what they see on TV. Your reputation will be destroyed." "Then we need to get our story out first," Ella said, thinking fast. "Richard, do you know anyone at the other news stations? Anyone who might listen to our side?" "I know a reporter at Channel 4, Richard said slowly. "Her name is Patricia Newman. She's tough but fair. She doesn't like publishing lies. But Ella, she'll need real evidence. Strong evidence. Not just he said, she said." "Tell her I'll have evidence," Ella said. "Tell her to meet me at the Starbucks on 42nd Street in 1 hour. I'll give her the biggest story of her career." "What evidence, Ella? What do you have?" "I don't know yet," Ella admitted, "but I will in 1 hour. I promise." She ended the call and looked at Samuel. "Did you send that video?" "Sent to all 300 employees," Samuel confirmed. "It's spreading fast. People are forwarding it to their friends and family." "Good. Now I need you to do something harder. I need you to find out which board members voted to remove me because Logan promised them money, and which ones might have actually believed his lies." Samuel's eyes widened. "You think some of them might switch sides?" "I don't know," Ella said honestly. "But we need every vote we can get. If even 1 or 2 board members realize they made a mistake, it could help us at the meeting." 20 minutes later, David came running back, his laptop clutched to his chest. "Ms. Torres, you need to see this." They huddled around his computer screen in an empty conference room. David had accessed Logan's email, and what they found made Ella's heart race. There were dozens of emails between Logan and a company called Horizon Investments. They were planning to buy Torres Tech and break into pieces, selling off different parts to different companies for huge profits. Logan would get $20 million for helping them. The board members would each get $5 million, but all the employees would lose their jobs. The company would cease to exist. He was never going to run Torres Tech, Ella whispered, reading the emails in shock. He was going to destroy it. He was going to sell it for parts like a stolen car. "This is criminal," Samuel said, his voice shaking with anger. "This is fraud. This is evil." Ella grabbed David's laptop. "I need to take this to the reporter. This is the evidence we need." She ran out of the building, jumped in her car, and drove to the Starbucks on 42nd Street. Patricia Newman was already there, a serious-looking woman in her 50s with gray hair and sharp eyes. "You have 10 minutes, Patricia said, sitting down with her coffee. "Convince me?" Ella showed her everything. The video of Logan grabbing her. The emails about selling the company. The proof that Logan had lied about Ella trying to sell Torres Tech. Patricia's eyes grew wider and wider as she read. Wow. This is massive. If this is real, Logan Campbell is going to prison. "It's real," Ella said. "Every word. Every email. And he's trying to destroy my reputation before anyone finds out the truth." Patricia pulled out her phone and made a call. "Jerry, clear the noon slot. We're running a different story. A much bigger story." She looked at Ella. "Can you come to the studio right now? I want to interview you live. I want you to tell the whole city what Logan Campbell tried to do." Ella's phone buzzed with a text from Rachel in accounting. "Found something. Logan's been moving company money into secret accounts. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think he's been stealing." Another text from Ashley. "All employees notified. Everyone is on your side. We're ready to vote." Another text from Samuel. "Board member Jennifer Kim wants to talk to you. She says she made a mistake. She didn't know about Logan's real plans. He had been arrested
Everything
for
was
fraud,
coming together.
embezzlement, and
All the
conspiracy.
pieces were falling
The
into
meeting
place.
hadn't even started
At
yet.
11:30
and
a.m.,
Logan had already
Ella
lost
Torres
everything.
appeared on Channel 4
but
News.
Ella wasn't done.
Sitting across
Not
from
yet.
Patricia Newman,
She had one
the
more
whole
thing
city
to
was
do.
watching.
She
Ms.
walked to the front
Torres
room and
Patricia
picked
said
up
to
the
the
microphone.
camera,
You were
"Before we
removed as
vote,"
CEO of your
she
own
said,
company this morning.
her voice steady and
But you
strong.
say there's more to the
"I have an
story than
announcement
what
to
we've
make.
heard. Tell
The
us what really
conference room
happened."
was so
Ella looked directly
quiet you
into
could
the
hear
camera.
people breathing.
She thought
Everyone
about her
stared at
grandmother,
Ella, who raised her
waiting
in
to
the
hear
Bronx.
what she would say. She thought about
Logan
every
sat in the back
employee
with
who
the police
believed in her.
detectives.
His
She
face
thought
pale
about
and
every
sweaty.
person who said
His
a black
expensive
woman
suit
couldn't build a
wrinkled
billion-dollar
and
company.
dirty. Ella
And
looked
she
out at
told the
all
truth.
the faces.
She
watching
told
her.
everything.
These were her
By
people.
noon, Logan
Her
Campbell's
employees,
phone was ringing off the
her
hook.
friends,
Reporters
the people
were
who
calling
believed
him.
in her.
The police
When
were calling
everything
him.
seemed
His
lost.
lawyer was calling him.
This morning,
Screaming about
Ella
the
began,
emails that had just
her
been
voice clear and
broadcast on
strong.
live television.
I was thrown out of my
Logan
own
sat in his
company.
new office.
I was humiliated.
Ella's old office.
I was betrayed
And watched his
by
entire
people I
world
trusted.
fall apart on
and
the
I was
TV
lied
screen.
about on purpose
At
by a
1:30
man who
p.m.,
only cared about money
Ella
and
walked
power.
into the Hilton Conference
She
Center for the
paused,
emergency
letting her
shareholder
words sink
meeting.
in.
The
But
room was
something
packed.
amazing
Every
happened
employee
today.
was there.
You all
Every
stood up for
board
me.
member was there.
You all fought for
And
the truth.
sitting in the back,
You all showed me
wearing
that Torres
handcuffs,
Tech isn't just
accompanied
a company.
by two
It's
police
a family.
detectives, was
And
Logan
families
Campbell.
protect each other. The employees started clapping, but Ella held up her hand. "I'm not finished," she said. "Before we vote on whether I should be CEO again, I need to tell you about some changes I'm going to make." Everyone leaned forward, curious. "First," Ella said, "every board member who voted to remove me and who knew about Logan's real plans, you're fired. Effective immediately." She pointed at 4 board members sitting in the front row. Their faces went white with shock. "You betrayed this company for money," Ella said coldly. "You were willing to destroy 300 jobs just to get rich. You don't deserve to be here." Security guards moved toward the 4 board members, escorting them out. They tried to argue, tried to protest, but no one listened. Everyone watched them leave with satisfaction. "Second," Ella continued, "I'm promoting Samuel Johnson to Chief Operating Officer. He showed real leadership today, and this company needs honest people in positions of power." Samuel's mouth dropped open in shock. The employees cheered and clapped him on the back. "Third," Ella said, her voice getting stronger, "I'm giving every single employee in this company a bonus. A real bonus. Because you all stayed loyal when it would have been easier to believe Logan's lies. You all deserve to be rewarded." More cheering. Some people were crying happy tears. "And fourth," Ella said, waiting for the room to get quiet again, "I'm changing how this company makes decisions. From now on, employees will have a real voice in major company choices. We're creating an employee council that will meet with me every month to discuss concerns, ideas, and problems. This company belongs to all of us, not just me." The room erupted with applause, so loud it hurt Ella's ears. People were standing up, hugging each other, celebrating. But then a voice cut through the noise. "You can't do this." It was Logan, standing up even with the handcuffs on, even with the detectives trying to pull him back down. "You can't just fire board members. You can't just change everything. There are rules. There are laws." Ella walked slowly toward Logan, her heels clicking on the floor. She stopped right in front of him, looking him straight in the eyes. "You're right, Logan," she said quietly. "There are rules. There are laws. And you broke every single one of them." She turned to address the whole room. "Logan Campbell stole $400,000 from Torres Tech," Ella announced. "Our accounting department found the evidence this morning. He created fake vendor accounts and transferred company money into his personal bank accounts." Logan's face turned red. "That's a lie. I never—" "We have the bank records, Logan," Ella said calmly. "We have the emails. We have everything. The police have everything. You're not just losing your job today. You're going to prison." The detectives pulled Logan toward the door. He struggled against them, screaming, "This isn't over, Ella." Logan shouted, "I have lawyers. I have friends. I'll destroy you. I'll destroy this whole company." "No, Logan," Ella said, her voice sad but firm. "It is over. You destroyed yourself." The door closed behind Logan Campbell, and he was gone. The room was silent for a moment. Then someone started clapping. Then another person. Then another. Soon the entire room was on their feet, giving Ella a standing ovation that lasted 5 full minutes. Patricia Newman, the reporter from Channel 4, was there with her camera crew, recording everything. This was the ending to her story, the moment when justice won. "Now," Ella said when the room finally got quiet, "let's vote. All in favor of me returning as CEO of Torres Tech, raise your hand." 300 hands shot up into the air. Every single employee, even the 2 board members who had stayed, Jennifer Kim and Robert Hayes, raised their hands high. All opposed. Ella asked. Not a single hand rose. "Then it's settled," Ella said, smiling for the first time all day. "I'm back." The celebration lasted for hours. Employees hugged Ella, thanked her, took pictures with her. The news crews interviewed people about what had happened. By evening, the story was on every channel, every website, every newspaper in New York. Black CEO fights back against corruption and wins. Torres Tech employees save their company. Logan Campbell arrested for fraud and embezzlement. Ella sat in her office that night. Her real office, the one Logan had stolen from her for just a few hours, and looked out at the Manhattan skyline. The city lights twinkled like stars. Her phone buzzed with a text from her grandmother. "I always knew you were special, Meja. I'm so proud of you." Ella smiled and texted back, "I love you, Abuela. Thank you for teaching me to never give up." Samuel knocked on her door. "Ms. Torres, sorry to bother you, but there are about 50 reporters downstairs who want to interview you." "Tell them I'll give one statement," Ella said. "Tell them to meet me in the lobby in 10 minutes. She walked down to the lobby, where cameras and microphones waited for her. She thought about everything that had happened today. How she had been kicked out of her own company at 9 a.m., how she had fought back with truth and evidence, how her employees had saved her, and how, just 5 minutes after that shareholder vote, she had fired every person who had betrayed her. "I only have one thing to say," Ella told the reporters. "Today I learned that honesty always wins in the end. I learned that good people will always stand up against bad people. And I learned that no matter how powerful someone seems, they can't defeat the truth." She paused, looking directly into the cameras. "Logan Campbell tried to steal my company with lies and greed. But he forgot one important thing. Torres Tech was never just about me. It was about every single person who works here. And you can't steal something that belongs to everyone." The reporters shouted questions, but Ella just smiled and walked away. She had won, not just a vote, not just her company back, but something more important. She had proven that doing the right thing, treating people with respect, and building something with love and care was stronger than any amount of money or power. Torres Tech was safe. Her employees were safe. And Logan Campbell would spend the next few years in prison, thinking about his mistakes. As Ella drove home that night, she looked at herself in the rearview mirror and whispered, "We did it, Abuela. We did it." And somewhere in heaven, her grandmother smiled.